Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. I'm calling for discussions between the liberals and conservatives and everyone else. I'm calling for honest discussions, effective discussions. What Donald Trump describes as in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations in their true form. No nonsense in regards to politics, what have you. Diplomatic discussions where we give people their rights and freedoms. Now, what is America supposed to be about? It's supposed to be about, your freedom of speech, your freedom of assembly, your right to pursue happiness. These are supposed to be core cultural values. Your freedom of religion. What I would argue is your most important right. It's the most important value here in America is your freedom of religion. Now, I'm somebody who serves God first before I'm anything else. But it's important to note that when we meet on this level of being American for discussions, you're not required to be proud to be American or to be for it or whatever. But this is how we kind of discuss things with each other. It's how we get to the bottom of things, how we solve problems. Some conservatives are more reasonable than others. Some liberals are more reasonable than others. Some Democrats are more reasonable than others. And we need to discuss these things and get to the bottom of it. So let me start off by introducing myself for those of you who don't know who I am. Okay, I'm known by many names, and my religion is very controversial. It's very logical, and that's a subject for another day. So I'll introduce myself as Horus, Horus, for the purpose of keeping it simple here. My name is Horus. I say things that are quite controversial at times, and I feel that's my right. Quite often I'm angry for a very good reason. I'm full of righteous indignation every single day. Sometimes I'm calmer than others. I consider myself fair and approachable. I consider myself righteous, not just decent, that I've worked very hard to be righteous. Some people work very hard to be good at painting or to be a fast runner. I worked very hard to be a righteous person. And I consider myself the top martial artist ever possible, as controversial as that is. And I know some people don't want me to say it that way. And I thought this would be a great example here, that I have a right to say it that way. I have a right to demand my respect within reason. And you have your right to speak on what you think you should speak on. And I want to end this by saying that I even think that people should be able to say racist things and use racist words on the internet, because I think the school system and the churches and the society in general, again, the churches, it's their option because it's their religion, should scramble to get people to be mature enough to hear things that are hateful and that are hurtful and to still make sound decisions. The reason why people are shooting up mosques and synagogues and doing stuff like that is because they're scatterbrained, they're not disciplined, they're not mature, because society won't structure itself effectively and fix the economy for the poor. The bottom 70%, 60% of people live paycheck to paycheck. The next 10% aren't doing that well, I'd imagine. And so people look around, they see hopelessness, they see drug addiction, they see the government not effectively managing things and solving problems. So when someone's like a vet suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder or something, they're more likely to kill themselves than they otherwise would be, because they see that there's so many problems in society and they're so poorly managed that they think, hey, the government's just going to forget about them and that's it. So how do we solve these problems? We have effective conversations, constructive conversations, not stupid and scatterbrained, illogical conversations, but orderly and effective and constructive conversations. In-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations to get things done. And we have to put an emphasis on giving people their rights. We shouldn't come to the conclusion that we should be censoring people. That's stupid. We shouldn't be canceling cultures in this organized, kind of underhanded, behind-the-scenes way or the otherwise. People have a right to express themselves and to assemble. And from my kind of estimation, I see that people are denied their freedom of speech, their freedom of assembly, their freedom of religion, and by default, therefore, they're denied their rights to pursue happiness. And people aren't happy, and there's around 50,000 suicides every year and hundreds of thousands of suicide attempts on top of all the other problems in America. Thank you.